There was a time when smartphone JRPGs meant something to me. Whether it was being able to have a free, immersive experience with me on the go, or having something to play when I didn't bring my portable consoles out as much, smartphone games were a part of my life in lunch breaks and train trips, and I was pretty addicted to certain ones like Final Fantasy Record Keeper. As much as I enjoyed these experiences, I fell out of them sometime last year when I became overwhelmed with the amount there were to play, and started bringing consoles like my Vita and Switch out with me in preference of bigger experiences with a concrete beginning and end, despite still enjoying them from time to time. I've still kept smartphone games on my phone though, as they're still enjoyable for their collection systems, bite-sized stories, and gameplay tributes to console games I love, but in pocket form. So here are some smartphone games I used to play that as I play more big experiences, I sometimes wish I could go back to. As a fan of the Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth games, I was very pleased to see the familiar models of my favorite Digimon used in the very good-looking smartphone game Digimon Lynx. I was happy to see it get localized late last year, and spent a little time with it building my Digifarm, completing its main quests, and trying to get as many Digimon as I could through hatching Digi-Eggs in its Digimon system, both reminiscent of Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth and Digimon World with the convenience of it being on smartphones. I wanted to get really into Digimon Lynx and collect and raise as many Digimon as I could, but I fell out of it around the time another smartphone game came out, and even more so when I started collecting Digimon in Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. Digimon Lynx is very convenient for some quick collecting on the go though, and the fact there's a library of Digimon to collect waiting for me in my smartphone really makes me want to get back to it sometime to try collect them all. I was very excited for the release of the Alchemist Code, to the point where I even made a video about it, but admittedly I haven't played it much outside of its release month. I did finally enjoy having it in English and getting the hang of its systems more easily, and I found a lot of its character descriptions very interesting as I got to know its world at my own pace. I mentioned in my main video about the Alchemist Code about how its surprising opening scene drew me in, but I feel like I really haven't taken the time to dive into its story yet and to get to know the events leading up to that scene. Someday, I'd really like to take up the tactical challenges of its story mode to get to know this smartphone JRPG that I was happy to see get localized and give it the time it deserves. Speaking of tactical smartphone JRPGs, Fire Emblem Heroes is still one of my favorites, even if I haven't played it for a while. Its version of Fire Emblem's core gameplay is somewhat condensed, but since it brings the core aspects to make it a worthy smartphone experience with a weapon triangle intact, varying fields that require strategy, and characters from the series with different stats and classes, it feels like a decent tactical JRPG experience on smartphones. Fire Emblem Heroes is also one of the kindest smartphone games with a gacha system for those looking to collect its characters. It offers a free gacha go each time it puts in new characters, and when I played it more often, I usually found it quite generous with its in-game currency offerings and never felt the need to buy in-game currency because I always got the ones I wanted eventually. I've left my party of high-ranked characters alone for a while and remember that they need leveling, so I'd like to get back into Fire Emblem Heroes again sometime to get back into a smartphone game I put a lot of time into in the past and to see how it's changed. As a fan of creative director Yoko Taro's work on Nier Automata, Japanese smartphone game SINoALICE is something I absolutely had to download, even if I couldn't understand its finer details in Japanese. SINoALICE was a unique smartphone game I really enjoyed. Its unique battle system of using weapons and weapon types to attack with was one I hadn't seen before, and I also really liked its finger sliding minigame for leveling up, and with plenty to still learn about its class system, there are still things waiting for me to do there. My favorite part of SINoALICE was its story tone, but since my Japanese isn't perfect, it takes me longer than I would like it to when getting through the story parts that have the eerie tone I enjoy from Yoko Taro's stories. I plan to get back into SINoALICE at some point to get more into its story and gameplay, but it probably won't be until it's in a localized form or when my Japanese improves. World of Final Fantasy Meli-Melo was a more recent smartphone JRPG discovery in Japanese that I only stopped playing in favor of my portable consoles even though I found it interesting. While it doesn't provide the exploration World of Final Fantasy's console experience does, it does include the unique stacking mechanic for battles and the adorable miniature version of Final Fantasy monsters. The battle system is quite different to World of Final Fantasy's original one, but I liked revisiting my favorite characters from its console experience, so I hope to get back to it at some point to revisit more familiar elements and to get nostalgia for a game I really want to see a true sequel for. The Tales games are something I criminally haven't gotten into enough, but Tales of the Race was on its way to encouraging me to do something about it, as it introduced me to its series characters in its pocket-sized experience. What I really loved about Tales of the Race was how it actually felt a lot like a JRPG in the usual sense. You can run through maps to find treasure and run into monsters, and the swipe screen active battle system both took advantage of the touchscreen well, while also feeling close to a console experience with its special attacks and base mechanics. While I would prefer to play a full Tales game to this mobile experience, Tales of the Race is one of the few smartphone JRPGs I've played so far with an exploration element, so I wanted to keep it on my smartphone to play more. However, it was announced recently that the app service will be suspended in the West at the end of May, so unfortunately it seems I left this one a little long. So if you haven't checked it out yet, now would be the time to get it before it disappears. In the meantime, since I was only a few chapters in, I may re-download it in Japanese, or alternatively commit myself to playing a full Tales game, since this smartphone game with fun exploration will sadly be saying goodbye to its English version. I played Kingdom Hearts Chi before it rebranded itself as the Union Cross version, and was drawn into it with its promise of more story for Kingdom Hearts' complex universe. I got about 100 levels in, and enjoyed its active battles that made swiping with the Keyblade easy, and its medal system that was both a fun and strategic battle element as well as a great collectible. I know I can watch a lot of this story arc with nicer graphics in Kingdom Hearts' HD editions, but there is still a piece of me that would like to get through this the way it was initially created. With hundreds of levels to explore to get to this conclusion though, I'll realistically experience this story on consoles before I play through it. But with its exploration, cute avatars and medals, I'll be keeping Union Cross in mind at least until Kingdom Hearts 3's eventual release. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below what smartphone JRPGs you play and what ones have you left alone and would like to get back to sometime. You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. Check out the blog at jrpgjungle.com. I do everything I do here, but in written form, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at jrpgjungle. Those links will be in the description below, along with links to where you can pick up all the smartphone games mentioned. Until next time, thank you, bye!